Greetings, fellow viewers. This is Chairman Capo Daniel of the People's Right Advocacy Platform, a minority advocacy group for the English-speaking people of Cameroon, which we want to call ourselves Ambazonia. Today, I want to bring you updates and breaking news that is coming from Finland. The Biafran self-declared Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, have been arrested by Finnish authorities for inciting violence with the intention of terror. That means terror-related violence in Nigeria. Simon Ekpa is the leader, self-declared leader of one of the Biafran groups that has fallen off with Nnamdi Kanu, who is currently in detention in Nigeria. He was illegally picked up from Kenya into Nigeria. So I want to inform you that Simon Ekpa has been arrested. Simon Ekpa had partnered with Dr. Cho Ayaba of the Ambazonian movement, leader of the Ague of Sea and the ADF of Ambazonia, who is also in prison in Norway for charges related to incitement of crimes against humanity. It's very important that I lay the background to our people to understand and to learn from what is happening. Simon Ekpa, like Ayaba, have previously had encounters with authorities in their countries of residence. On February 2023, Simon Ekpa was arrested in Finland for inciting violence that amounted to terrorism in his effort to fight against the Nigerian election. He was subsequently released because of lack of evidence. He was not charged in court. So just like the previous case, he has been arrested. He has not been arraigned. That means he has not been charged in the court. So we'll be monitoring the situation within the next 48 hours, according to the procedures in Finland, whether he will be charged this time in court. Unlike Ayaba, who have been arraigned, that means he has been charged in the Norway court for inciting crimes against humanity in Cameroon. And the case that have been cited is statements he made asking people to kill Francophones, to kidnap Francophones, that was subsequently followed up by his forces in Bamenda, where 10 people were slaughtered in the name of attacking Francophones. That is clearly a crime against humanity, and he deserves to be arrested. So he was not arrested on a bogus claim. Both Simon Ekpa and Ayaba are all European citizens carrying European passport. Europeans are known for their fairness in their justice, and we know that these cases are cases that are not just made up by these state parties, but they are real crimes on the ground. I want to inform our people that during the 60s, African freedom fighters fought also from the diaspora. They were never arrested. They were never persecuted by European state. Some even fought independence for Zimbabwe, right from England itself. They were never arrested because they were very consistent in their practice of fighting for freedom with human rights expectation of the international community. What we are seeing in southern Cameroon and what we are also seeing in Biafra is excesses being used by leaders who are frustrated of not having the capacity on the ground, but using propaganda to claim responsibility for acts on the ground that they themselves are not responsible for, because of showmanship, because of lack of progress in diplomacy. So to make up for their shortcomings or their incompetence, they indulge in promoting ideology, promoting things in the ground that hurts their own people. I was in the TV on the Biafran platform to talk about this issue of Simon Ekpa, which is similar things Ayaba have been doing in Cameroon. You don't sit in the diaspora, allow groups who are kidnappers, groups some of whom are created by the state party, to carry out action in your name simply because you want to look like a strong man or be a famous person. No. To fight for freedom for our people, we need to build real capacity and not rely on propaganda alone. We need to build capacity of forces and fighters that we are really in control of and that can guide them and their conduct to reflect what our people want. We should never tolerate groups that kidnaps in our name simply because we want to use them or to look like strong people. That is wrong, and that is why Ayaba Cho and Mr. Ekpa today, who have displayed some level of peacock syndrome that one can never imagine. I know these two gentlemen. I have had engagement with them in collaborating with them when we were trying to create the links between the Biafran, the alliance between the Biafran and the Ambazonian movement. I was part of the architect. I was the main propagandist who was out there to form how we are going to collaborate and see how we can to positively influence change on behalf of our people, to leverage our population, to leverage our will, to fight for our freedom in order to make progress for our people. The Nigerian and the Cameroon government have made certain success to decapitate our movement by kidnapping, illegally arresting the main leader. The main leader of the Biafran movement is Nnamdi Kanu. The main leader of the Ambazonian movement is Ayok Tabe, both of whom have been illegally arrested by the state. In our frustration, I speak to the Biafra people, the Igbo people, and the Southern Cameroonians, the English-speaking Cameroonians. In our anger, do not commit crimes, especially against our own people. It will catch up with you sooner or later. You cannot claim to be fighting for a people and tolerate, accommodate, promote policies that hurts the people that you claim to be representing or fighting for their freedom, that hurts them more than it hurts the governments that we are trying to fight against. With no remorse, time and time again, we have seen Simon Ekpa and Ayaba Cho promote policies that directly affect our people more than it affects the central governments, with the sole purpose to secure support from those gangsters on the ground because they want to look strong. We must be realistic with our chances against the government and use measures that align with the public interest of our movement. Simon Ekpa and Ayaba Cho today are in prison not because they are fighting for freedom. They have not arrested them because they are championing the cause of minorities or indigenous people. They have arrested them because their conduct have promoted terrorism and they have used terror tactics against their own people, civilians. Be mindful of that. We must be careful. Even during war, there are laws. These are just moral issues. These are moral issues. People have pleaded with these two gentlemen, pleaded with them to change their propaganda, to change what they are doing on the ground, to be considerate on what is actually happening on the ground and not create their own reality on social media while the people are suffering on the ground without any care or concern about those same people that you claim to be protecting. If you are fighting for a people, you must be conscious and sensitive to their feelings and what they are going through, not exacerbate their problems. So today, like I said for the case of Ayaba Cho, it will be a great relief for most of the people in Nigeria or even the Igbo people that Simon Ekpa have been arrested for crimes. Not because he is not important, not because Ayaba Cho is not important, but because in their anger, I will say in their anger, because I know these gentlemen, they love their people. In their anger, in their ego, they have derailed what they originally stand for and are now doing things because they are overwhelmed by internal dynamic, they are overwhelmed by internal rivalry in trying to prove themselves as leaders, have fallen prey to groups that have set them up, committing crimes in their name and they themselves has authorized those crimes. So our heart goes out to the Biafran people, the Igbo people, who are really suffering from marginalization and have no chance for any Biafran or Igbo person to ascend to become a president in Nigeria simply because they are Biafra. They deserve their cause to be championed and be heard in legitimate way. And I encourage all the activists and human rights activists that I know from Igbo land who are really worried about the security of their people due to encroachment from Fulani herdsmen, that they should learn from this and make adjustment to how they best represent and fight for the right of their people. The same with us in Southern Cameroon. We must learn from what is happening and not try to justify actions that have betrayed our people's trust in these two gentlemen. We must learn why they have been arrested. We must understand how to fight for our freedom. Because our cause is just does not give us a blank check to do anything. In war, there are rules. Even as human beings, we must be sensitive to the suffering of our people. We must be pragmatic in our approach. We must balance propaganda with genuineness. It's a matter of character. So that is what we want to inform you today about Simon Ekpa. He has been arrested. Ayaba Cho also have been brought to court as the Constitution of Norway require. His bail was rejected. He is under strict condition while in detention. That means he's not even allowed to communicate with his family without supervision, and not all topics. He is restricted even with his communication with his wife, because his crime is incitement of crime against humanity because of the things he was doing. There are evidence. There are people that his forces killed that we know. People have advised him. He refused to hear. This is not how we fight for freedom. The cause of the English-speaking people in Cameroon is genuine. The cause of the Igbo people in Nigeria, for the Biafran people, are genuine. And they must be led by noble people who love their people and put their people's interests above their own political vision for their people. We cannot hold our people hostage to our vision. We must use our vision, our influence, to positively affect change for our people, mindful of the pain they are already going through and the hard times they are going through within the state of Nigeria and Cameroon. God bless you all.